What's going on, everyone? I'm Joshua Jones. This is Good Luck, Have Fun, Magic the Gathering on YouTube, and you're here today for a video in the Extra Turn series where we just put out a video that's not on any regular schedule whenever we kind of just feel like doing something extra related to Magic the Gathering, of course. And today I'm going to be trying to answer the question, what is Pauper Commander? So you may or may not have heard of Pauper Commander, but what it is it's a Magic variant format. And to really understand it, you're going to need to know what Pauper is and you're going to need to know what Commander is. So, Pauper is a common rarity cards only format. So, any card that's been printed at the common level in Magic's history is allowed, except for those that are on a ban list, which Pauper has its own ban list, in the deck. And you cannot play any uncommons, rares, or mythics. All right, so what is Commander? Commander, of course, is the 99 singleton format where you use one legendary creature throughout Commander's history, Magic's history, as your commander, and that creature sits in what's called a command zone, and you can have access to it throughout the whole game, but every time you cast it, you have to pay 2 more to cast the creature. So that means that Pauper Commander, or Commons Commander, that's what we're going to refer to it on when we do our Commander Limited series and do deck techs on the Commons Commander series. We're going to call it Commons Commander. What that is you choose one common or uncommon creature that's been printed in Magic's history. So doesn't need to be legendary, but can. And you use that as your commander. The deck has to contain 99 commons, so you cannot use any other rarity in your actual library itself. They all have to be 99 commons and one general legendary or non-legendary creature that's been printed that sits as your commander in the command zone. The cool part about this is that you have plenty of single color options at common and uncommon, obviously, but you also have 5 colors, you have the 5 shards, you have the 5 wedges, and you have all 10 enemy and ally color guilds to choose from. So there's an option for whatever flavor color you like to play in Magic. You have a choice. So anyways, the heads up version of the game is played at 20 life. You play just like you would a regular Pauper thing, but of course singleton, and you have access to your chosen commander, and you play the best of 3. So I'm going to leave a link below to mtgcanada.com, but that's where I would head to find any information on how to play 1v1 or duel in paper commander games. Then you could play Tells Down. So multiplayer, 40 life, play like a regular commander game, best of 1. Head on over to Wizards to find out everything you need to know about the commander format. I'll leave a link to that below as well. So why? Why do this? First of all, put on a new brew strategy, right? So we play this commander format where we get to pick any legendary, which are kind of limited. Not really, but I mean, it's more limited. But then we can use any card in Magic's history, which is not limited at all. Just pick whatever cards you want that aren't banned, right? So we kind of flip that. We say, choose whatever creature you want, right? At the common or uncommon level, but you can only play commons in your deck. Kind of flip it on its head and makes your brew spirit come alive. Next up, it's affordable. I mean, we're talking about 99 commons here. The decks, at their max, aren't going to be the max of what regular commander decks are. So you can kind of put them together on the lower end of the financial scale. Turn it down. So the other upside, I think, is the decks aren't powerful, and that's a good thing. Sometimes you can optimize decks to the point where they're so competitive that it's just like, I don't know, it's just you bring down the level, and you can open up your window to all players. So like imagine if somebody that just played for the first time picked up a pre-con deck and wants to play with you, and all you have is your Narset deck. Well, those games aren't going to go so well. So you play the Pauper deck against that, and you're probably going to be on an even playing level. Next up, so you get to expand your Magic history, your Magic learning, right? It's like taking a whole new class on cards because you're going to have to research cards and look at cards and read cards and come up with new game plans, and it's going to expand your mind, right? So TM Outer Limits. Table for two. What I mean by this is normally for myself in particular, whenever I play Commander, I want to play in multiplayer games. 1v1 games are not my style, and if they're not your style, well, when it comes to Pauper Commander, it's a little bit easier to bear because you're at that 20 life. You're playing singleton, and then it's kind of fun, and you could just play with two people, and then once the rest of your play group shows up or some more folks show up to the shop to play, just scoop it up, just play a regular commander, or have them jump in the next game, or they could play two, and then you guys can get together. You see what I'm saying there? So yeah, but there's going to be a downside, right? So if you stuck around this long, you might be thinking, but Josh, this, that, the other. Okay, it's not legal. I get it. I'm not on a rules committee. I don't work for Wizards. I'm just a guy that loves Commander, right? So legal to me is a relative term. If it's okay with your play group and you communicate what you're doing, then it's legal. You can do it. You own the cards. Nobody could tell you how to play except for yourself. You'll have to explain it every time. Yeah, but you're gathering, right? Like you're trying to educate one another. It's a downside that you have to explain it every time, but it's an opportunity to teach people, like about this new thing, and you want to do that. It's turned down to a 7. Yeah, you could see turned down to a 7. The most optimized Pauper decks are not going to beat, the most casualish of decks that are using all the rarities and all that stuff. That's true, right? There's no way around that. So I mean, it is what it is. The resources for building, are limited. That's Yeah, they're limited, but I'm gonna leave a link for Scryfall in the description below, and this is a great resource to use to look up commons cards, and it's just you're gonna have to put more homework into it. That's not always necessarily a bad thing. And they're not good against regular decks. That's absolutely true. You're not going to want to play these Pauper decks against regular decks. You're going to want to play them against other decks that are like the limited decks that we do for the Commander Limited series, minus the Time Walk series. Those decks are just regular decks. But play them against other like guild restricted decks or block decks or precons or decks like that, or decks for people that just put decks together with cards that they have, and you'll be okay. So let's just talk about some suggestions and recommendations before we go into the summary here. And the first is pick a legendary that works too. So what I mean by that is, let's say you want to play Aven Wind Guide. Okay, cool. You got a tokens strategy thing going on. I like it. I can dig it. And you can play this because it's an uncommon. Well, one of the things you might want to do is you might want to pick up Temet. So then you have a legendary creature that works with the strategy. So whenever you're playing Pauper Commander, you use Aven Windmine, right? Guide, and then you have your 99 cards in your deck that are common. Let's say people don't want you to play the uncommon. Well, just put the Vizier in there, and then you're playing 99 commons, and doesn't, it's going to be underpowered, but you'll have a commander so that you don't just end up not being able to play, right? The next thing you want to do is plan an event with your store. So one of the best ways you can educate the public is get with your store and see if they want to put on an event, and it sparks interest to a mass audience, and then you create a meta for this whole new format, right? Boom, there you go. Next up, prepare ahead of time. So if you want to play Pauper Commander, I don't recommend just showing up to the store and being like, this is what I'm doing, because you don't want to force yourself on anybody, right? You just want to be able to work your way into it. And the one way you can do that is by preparing ahead of time. Talk about it for a couple weeks with your play group. Get them interested. Give people enough time to make the decks with you, right? The next up, there's potential for Pauper. So buy playsets. One of the things we'll do is every once in a while when we do a Commander Limited and we do a Commons Commander deck, I'll point out cards that I would buy 3 of, so you can create a whole nother deck that's legal for the 60 card Pauper format, right? And then finally, play group participation. So you're going to want to communicate. Communicate with your play group, communicate with your players, communicate with the people that are around you, and you're going to be better off. To summarize, common or uncommon commander does not have to be legendary. As long as it's a creature that's common or uncommon, you can use it as your commander. Your library has to be 99 cards that are common. They cannot be anything except for commons. Communication is key. Underpowered and requires teaching. That's our downsides. On the upside, you get creativity, affordability, 1v1, and potential to move into other formats. Well, that's going to do it. Subscribe, especially if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Share if you think other people would be into Pauper Commander or you just want to get this information out there. Hit the bell because we got videos coming out every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Central. Like and also leave a comment below. Do you play Pauper Commander? Are you into this? Let me know. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you, Wednesday at 8. Good luck. Have fun.